it has its tentacles in virtually everything that's going wrong in society today. And in no fashion do I mean in any way to be controversial. I will not say anything that is exaggerated tonight, and if I do, by any reason, say something that you feel is controversial or is exaggerated, then please asking you to stand up, get my attention, wave your arms, not so fast, Greg, whatever. Because all of the information I will give you is government information. Any statistics, government statistics, and I will try to address this in as logical a course as I can. The first question I ask, though, wherever I go, and I will ask to you, just to be consistent, and that is how many of you good folks believe that we in the United States of America are in better shape today than we were 5 years ago with regard to the critical issue of drug use and abuse and all of the crime and misery that goes with it. Okay, I see one hand, I got one, two hands, okay. I imagine that you would say that we're doing better from an educational standpoint, and if you would say that, I would agree with you. But otherwise, I think it is indisputable that we're not making progress, and pretty much everybody feels that way. In fact, it doesn't matter the group you speak with. I can and do talk with religious organizations, any political group, law enforcement, chambers of commerce, civic groups, it doesn't matter. We all pretty much realize what we're doing isn't working. That's my message. With that, I can sit down, take questions, leave, because everything I say will follow from that realization. What's the first thing that follows from that? Well, understand we have no legitimate expectation of being in better shape next year than we're in today, unless we change our approach. Okay? Well, if that's the case then, what should we do? Well, it would seem to me that a seemingly intelligent, caring society would look at what we have done over the last 50, 100 years that has been successful and not successful, and hopefully, although maybe it's too much to ask, gravitate over toward what works. But why be so myopic? Why be so short-sighted? Let's look around the world and see what other countries have done that has been successful and not successful, and learn from their experience as well. Are we the same country as Holland? No. Are we the same country as Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, whatever? No, but we can learn from them. We have so many similarities, it's silly to disregard what they are doing. What is our policy today? What is our drug policy today? Well, it is a program of drug prohibition. It isn't working. So I understand that these Institutes for Sensible Drug Policy and the Federalist Society has screened you people out really carefully, so that they have told me that only the cream, only the really intelligent people were able to get through this door to have this discussion today. And so we are going to design a new drug policy for the United States of America right now. If we are going to do that drug policy, what is the first question that we should ask ourselves as we embark upon this? Yes?
What do you define as a drug?
That's absolutely right. What's a drug? And usually it takes, see, they were right. These guys are right on the ball.
Our screening process went well.
But usually it takes us a while to get there. But the question is, what's a drug? Okay. What is a drug? Well, aspirin, is that a drug? Yes. Is that what we're talking about? No. Okay. Penicillin, is that a drug? Yes. Is that what we're talking about? No. Okay, so we're going to design a new drug policy. What is a drug that we're going to discuss and define? And that, it seems to me, is a mind-altering, sometimes addicting substance. Okay? Mind-altering, sometimes addicting substance. Well, what is an example of a mind-altering, sometimes addicting substance?
Sugar.
Excuse me?
Sugar.
Sugar. Fair enough.
Caffeine.
What? Caffeine. Who has that can of mind-altering, sometimes caffeine? Wait a minute, is that mind-altering? Is caffeine mind-altering?
Yes.
Sure it is. Is it sometimes addicting?
Yes.
You betcha. Does our present drug policy address these mind-altering, sometimes addicting drugs? No. So if we start asking this question, we will be light years ahead of the government of the United States of America. That government has still not asked that question. So if you're going to have a drug policy, let's include all of the drugs. What are some more? Caffeine we've gotten, and sugar, which is
Marijuana.
Marijuana, that's right. What else?
Nicotine.
What?
Nicotine, tobacco.
Nicotine. I don't know, my mother uses nicotine. Is it mind altering?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Crack.
Is it sometimes addicting?
Yes.
Cigarettes, nicotine is as addicting as cocaine. If you're concerned about a killer drug for the user, what is the biggest killer drug by far in this regard? That's number two. Alcohol is number two. Number one is, for the user, tobacco, hands down. We lose something in the order of 75,000 people every year in our country alone because they themselves drink alcohol. But we lose somewhere between 400 and 450,000 people every year in our country alone because they themselves smoke cigarettes. And in fact, I lost my mother to lung cancer. So if you're concerned about the health of the user, shouldn't we make cigarettes illegal? 450,000 people. C. Everett Koop, bless him forever, Surgeon General, was the first to really rally and give honest information about the harms of cigarettes. And he said, you know, 400,000, but people just don't grapple with that sort of number. So instead, he said, it's the same number as if two Boeing 747 aircraft, which are still the largest aircraft commercially in the world, were to crash and burn every day, full of people, killing everyone aboard. And that is the number of people that die because they themselves smoke cigarettes in our society. If that were to happen to two of these airplanes, you can imagine the angst that we would have. We would ground the fleet. We would go into all kinds of apoplexy looking for why these things happen. But we just don't regard this at all with regard to cigarettes. Should we? Should a drug policy address cigarettes too?
Yes.
The answer has to be yes. So that's the killer drug. How many of you believe that cigarettes should be illegal? Some. You're going to make my mother a criminal, and we're going to bring Al Capone into the cigarette distribution business, aren't we? So you know, if you look at it, alcohol prohibition, we repealed that with the passage of the 21st Amendment. Hooray! Are you aware, by the way, that the country experienced a 60% decrease in homicides the first year after we repealed alcohol prohibition? And it continued to go down each year thereafter until the beginning of the Second World War. And I'm here to tell you that I fully believe that we will experience the same phenomenon when we finally come to our senses and repeal drug prohibition.